I will be there in about 5 minutes. I don't know if anybody can really hear me or not. I'll be there in 5 minutes.
Copy that, James.
So they broke ground, I would say November.
Oh.
And we've been in application season for, I think village 4 of phase 2.
So families moved into phase 1 already?
So before Christmas, we had 22 families move in. This week, we have 11 closings lined up.
And how do you prioritize them?
It's more so we really wait for the CO, and then if we can get the certificate of occupancy in, and then we get lawyers lined up.
But I mean, in terms of which families get first dibs?
They went through it's a selective option. So families get to choose when they want to apply for the initial part. Yeah. And now that we've gotten the first village in, now we're doing it by sections of the older part. So we'll have that group apply.
And
Okay, all right, so you got it.
trailers like the ones.
Okay, all right, thanks.
When they broke ground, they put them out.
Yeah, so we phase 2 is still continuous to phase 1, so it's still the land that was undeveloped.
Yeah.
But we have been moving trailers throughout the park, and moving families around,
So
so
that nobody's
displaced.
while
Yeah.
I walk over.
Really
on
nice
South First the other day.
Mhm.
Is
It
it?
looks
I
like
have a
they're all
friend who's
empty
having
now.
a procedure there
You know,
tomorrow,
the
so I
apartments
was
at the
thinking
end
of
are
going
filled.
over
Yeah.
with her
Is-
wife.
When
Yeah,
would they
they
put
they
those?
moved a lot of them to
Really nice. And
Port,
What is it?
Upper Brook Port. It's somewhere in Albemarle. Yeah.
Really not, I mean.
So I
Because they are empty then.
Yeah.
Okay, 'cause they look like it was a ghost town.
and now
She's
they
go-
have
she's
to
first
work
case,
on
we
getting more
7 to 8
people in those
She can't bear
spaces,
weight for 6.
because a lot of people that have moved have
My
decided
brother
not
had
to.
over.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
So
So he,
That's crazy.
yeah,
it was a number of years ago in Boston,
it's
but it's
very
amazing that it's being done. It's great. It's great.
crazy, but they also are starting other
More or less, I mean, you know,
places. The West Haven is up next,
Yeah.
and then
They're
but
gonna
now-
redo
I think
their
10 years
Yeah.
ago,
and
so.
then
She has
Sixth
to
Street.
ride around.
Yeah.
Walker thing, you know.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, does you have one? We have one. It's
And then the
really
next phase of
You know,
Kindlewood would eventually
all
happen.
blessings.
So.
Yes. I just brought a bunch
Sorry,
of stuff
that
up there
was
because there's,
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I live right up the street.
we have crutches, but I
I
haven't,
bet. I
I'm
haven't
still
went
holding on to that.
You
inside.
gotta see when they.
Yeah.
I gave a lot of the other stuff away, but I like those.
And last year they finished
broke his legs.
Crescent, I live right across the
Yes.
street.
and
But
I went
it's
in
amazing
there.
the different,
Can you believe it?
yeah,
It's
he was.
beautiful.
And the
up for-
residents, I mean, I
They're
talked
so
to, I walked my
good.
dogs
Bigger
over there, so
deal
I
10
got to
years
know
ago
some.
now.
Yep.
She's coming
I mean,
home right
the
after.
stories I was hearing
That's amazing.
before.
I he did.
Oh, yeah.
Plumbing, rats.
Yeah.
So we're gonna meet Kathleen and I are both
It was
nurses.
Oh,
Her wife is
there.
there.
You did,
Yeah, and so I know
you
that
knew.
the conditions were not where they
It was-
needed
So
to
we're
be.
gonna go to the house
Yeah.
and help her
It
get
took
out.
forever, it took a lot.
Get in the
It
elevator and go up
did,
the
but
ramp.
it's
But it was
a-
worth it, man. It
Rented
is so.
ramp.
Yeah. Yeah.
wow.
Let's see.
I went up,
Oh.
for the first number of days. I was there for the same.
Pam, there she is, top of her head. All right.
Wow.
Hey,
I'm-
Pam,
I'm about a minute away on foot.
Oh, it
All
is
right,
the same
well
day.
done.
Happy New Year, Pam. Happy New Year, Patricia.
Thank you, same to you.
I'm waving. I have no idea if they can see me. They can't, right? There's no camera on me.
No, not much. Not much come sit beside me.
I just love that. I'm like, okay, hi.
It's okay. Y'all say you were waving at me.
That's right.
Come on.
So funny.
Lose power.
Oh, I meant to ask Inez, but I could ask you. What's the process of renting this space?
You go online, there's a city space, thing.
Okay,
You go to Shawsville.gov, Bill.
Okay,
Just
and
put in
then-
city space.
okay, thank you. I had a feeling it was easy-ish, but okay.
Yeah, and I don't know
What's the criteria?
there are some
Yeah, criteria.
people that have, hey, how's it going?
Hey, how's everybody?
Hi.
This year.
Were you on your phone?
Merry Christmas. Yeah. Well, I had to drop my kids off and a whole bunch of things and so.
By
Okay,
the way, Susan, just because you don't see me doesn't mean I'm not watching you.
Okay, I thought she was here with us.
Happy New Year.
How you doing?
Good to see you. Been seeing your flesh in a long time.
All right, let me log in.
Girl back.
Get started here.
Check me back. I want to say like Monday or Tuesday, actually.
I take notes and then I have no idea what they're about. I take notes and then I have no idea what they're about. I'm having a hard time organizing my stuff. I'll go out and then working. But I'm having a hard
I'm
time-
scratching myself. There you go.
I rearranged my whole office.
Don't want to catch it.
Oh, yeah.
Good for you.
Well, there we go.
I'm hoping that'll help. Yeah, I mean, I knew how to do my office. And I thought that.
I'm sure it's been doing well for several years.
And that was because of my-
Saw something was good.
I was more organized
Yeah.
at
That's good, man.
probationary, you know, because I had to on my own.
You were.
Haven't put it.
Right.
I don't know what it is. Right, no. Like,
In that end.
Okay.
Bill, you're echoing.
Yeah, you, and I'm
trying to
muted.
think where
It's me.
I have no idea what the person.
Maybe volume, maybe that.
I'm with you.
I'm like, I have no idea.
Okay,
Okay, I think I'm muted now.
okay. Can people on the
Can you hear us?
online, can you hear us?
Maybe that was muted.
Doesn't look like it.
So let me.
Usually you have the mic.
Might have forgotten to unmute. Pretty sure I did though. Even if you really stupid if I did.
We need to have our mics on the computer.
I think.
No, I probably need.
Take a few more minutes to.
You could have stopped.
Exactly.
I just rearranged it, so I'm gonna give one of those slotted stand-up meetings. Have a file cabinet.
It's picking up
That's
on
for like
the-
at least. Current.
But it's the one
So
that
I'm
you
not
just
sure
move
why they
around
can't
and
hear
it's
us.
just,
And
and it's just a little.
the
guy.
folks on the line hear us?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We're good then.
I
All right.
Put it.
Okay. Okay, well, then it's, I think it's time to get started here. Pull up my agenda here.
Start time.
Is 6:30. 6:36, 6:37. As soon as my defective computer finishes booting, I'll get us moving here. Okay, I'll call the January 2024 meeting of the PCOB to order. Thanks everyone who come. I appreciate it. Does anyone have any announcements for the good of the organization? We will be having a public comment period. I have a few since Inez is under the weather and has chosen not to attend and infect us all. So a number of things have happened and have not happened during the last month. As you're aware, the standard operating procedure for information sharing being drafted by the city attorney has not been issued yet, and I've been complaining about that perhaps a little too vigorously, but nonetheless we have arranged to have the chair and vice chair meet with the city attorney to talk about our concerns and aims for that document, and hopefully facilitate its being issued. We have one person who has applied to be a member of the board to replace or take the place of, or just whatever our Susan Krischel, who has left due to illness. The next, anybody else have anything, questions? No. The next item is approving the agenda. It's published on our website. It has been issued. It's been sent to the various board members. It's somewhat abbreviated because we don't have an executive director's report, and so I've suggested that that there be a one public comments period at the end. It basically, the focus of tonight is to deal with the sort of administrative issues that we need to deal with, namely getting rid of our PCRB, extinguishing our PCRB bylaws, and electing our officers. Does anyone have any comments, questions about the agenda, suggestions? Does anyone object to their being approved? Hearing no objection, the agenda is approved as submitted. Next item is the approval of the minutes provided by Inez. Are there any comments, questions, suggestions, edits? Is there any objection to approving the minutes? Okay, in that case, the minutes are approved. Now, the next item is one of those two big administrative issues that we have to deal with, which was the motion to extinguish the bylaws, which we tried to do last time. Turns out we didn't have a quorum because it takes four of us to do that. Also, there was some confusion about what the motion actually did. See if I can.
There, I have it here if you want me to.
Do you have copies
I have a hard copy.
for everybody?
No.
I'm just trying to get it so everybody can see it. front of me. If I can here. Like I can.
I can read it, Mr. Chair, if that's.
Given that we have a, let me just read.
Is the share button?
Oh, I got it. I got it.
Okay.
Icon there. You did it. You did it.
There you go.
Okay, so
There it is.
basically, this is the document that Jeff and the city attorney helped put together. Or was it Pam who drafted it?
No, it was April Wimberly with City Attorney's Office, and she and I went back and forth with it. She came up, this is her final draft.
So
The proposed draft.
So the basic issue is that in 2019, the city council approved an ordinance for the PCRB and bylaws for the PCRB. When the new ordinance was approved in 2021, it amended, basically abolished the old ordinance. But that kind of left the bylaws kind of hanging out there in the wind, and it was not clear to some folks whether the bylaws were still in effect or we meant the operating procedures to be the governing documents, which we do. So basically, this just kills the superfluous bylaws that are not relevant anymore.
Mr. Chair,
yes.
I was just gonna say that the problem was that there was some contradiction between the two, and the city attorney felt that we needed to extinguish the obsolete ones just to clean it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I got a question then.
Yes,
So when we extinguished the old 2019 through this vote bylaws, right?
yes.
But we've been riding on the operating procedures and the old bylaws, but not really the old bylaws because
No,
they've never been extinguished officially.
exactly. We've been actually riding on the new ones, but the old ones are still
Okay.
in force.
When
Yeah.
April Wimberly, deputy city attorney, went through to start putting together the SOP, she said, "What are these bylaws?"
Right.
And she was, and we just, so this is basically there's this apparent duplication, which in effect shouldn't be occurring. Now, does anyone want to have a reading of the document again, or can we just proceed?
I'm happy to read it.
I think Jeff volunteered.
Go ahead,
to read it.
he volunteered.
And Bob,
All right.
let's do it. Definitely a big thing initially.
So this is a motion of the Police Civilian Oversight Board. Whereas the City Council, Charlottesville City Council on November 4, 2019, approved an ordinance adding Article 16 to Chapter 2 of the Code of the City of Charlottesville and establishing the Police Civilian Oversight Board, then Review Board, and by resolution approved the bylaws governing the board's initial operation. Whereas since that time, the board, in consultation with outside counsel and the city attorney's office, has developed comprehensive operating procedures governing the board's internal operations and the performance of its powers and duties. Whereas those operating procedures were approved by Charlottesville City Council by resolution on December 19th, 2022. Whereas there are certain inconsistencies between the bylaws and the operating procedures, which promotes confusion. Whereas the operating procedures provide all necessary information, procedures, and principles governing the board's internal operation and the performance of its powers and duties. Whereas to promote clarity, the board deems it necessary and beneficial to provide one source of procedures to govern its internal operations and the performance of its powers and duties. Whereas Article 13 of the board's bylaws provides, quote, "These bylaws may be amended by the board. Any proposed amendment must be presented by a board member in writing at a regular board meeting. The board may adopt the amendment at its next regular meeting upon an affirmative vote of 4 board members." Whereas the board's operating procedure number one, permits the board to take any action, including action regarding the bylaws, so long as the action does not, quote, "exceed its authority expressly set forth within the enabling legislation," close quotes, codified at Virginia Code 9.1601. Therefore, I hereby move that the Police Civilian Oversight Board rescind, repeal, and permanently extinguish the bylaws in their entirety.
You so move?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, I will stop sharing here. If you please signify whether you're in favor. Reverend Jones Turner,
In favor.
Mr. Frazier,
Aye.
Mr. Watson. Yes. Ms. Washington.
Yeah.
And I agree, and vote aye. The motion is carried unanimously. The bylaws are hereby extinguished. All right.
Mr. Chair, should one of us inform Ms. Wimmerly that Ms. Gonzalez do that when she's back in the office? We just
Oh,
want
we
to
definitely have to.
let her know that we passed it, so.
Yes. Certainly it'll be in the minutes, and
Okay,
and we'll also basically provide this form
okay.
as well. So,
Absolutely. Make sure everybody signs off on it.
gotcha. Okay. All right. So that kind of helps greatly to clarify our procedures. I appreciate folks taking the time to look at that and think about it. Our next order of business is the election of officers. Under our operating procedures and ordinance, we are required to elect officers at the first meeting in any calendar year. As current chair, as we've done in the past, I plan to preside, although I will not nominate anyone nor second any nominations. The way that we've done it in the past is to accept nominations for chair to start with, and then when no one else, when there are no more, to vote, and then follow the same procedure for the vice chair. Anyone on the board may make a nomination. If you are nominated for an office, you may refuse. Are any questions, comments? The nominations for chair are open.
I nominate Bill Mendez.
Nominate Bill as well.
I guess that's.
Nobody is. My question is be interested in taking the chair or vice chair positions.
Yeah, we haven't, the board is, I'll just make a comment here that the board is populated mostly by new members.
Right.
And it's totally understandable that they might not be comfortable accepting being an officer for the board at this time. So there's only one nomination, which is myself. Mr. Frazier.
Aye.
Mr. Watson.
Yes.
Ms. Washington.
Yeah.
Let's see, Miss Reverend Jones Turner.
Yes.
And I vote for myself, and so you're stuck with me for another year. Are there any nominees for vice chair?
Nominate Jeff.
Thank you, Dave.
Anybody want to do it?
You got it.
I will violate my policy and second you. Any other nominations? Okay, now, all in favor of, I'll ask, Mr. Frazier,
Aye.
Mr. Watson,
Yay.
Ms. Washington,
Yes.
Reverend Jones Turner. Aye. And I vote aye as well, and congratulate the vice chair. Like they say, you know, I'm not sure I want it, but in any event, I'm looking, I'm hoping, this is an abbreviated meeting because I've not been feeling well. The things have been going slowly over the holidays, but I'm hoping that we can, do some interesting and dynamic things this year. As I said, we have at least one person who apparently is very eager to join the board. And one of the first things we do is just get sort of a planning session that will ask individuals to what roles that they might like to fill on the board. So one last item, and this is something that I have sent around to the sent around to the membership this week, and it is also posted on the agenda page. It turns out that we have not been strictly in conformance with the procedures and policies related to the conduct of meetings that have been issued by the city under policy number 10002 of 2022, and not totally consistent with open meeting legislation for Virginia. The bottom line, you have the document and you can see what we need to do. The bottom line for us is that there are very strong encouragements for us to meet in person, and that we are only allowed to meet remotely, that is as a group, remotely three times a year. So we're basically being asked to meet at least 3/4 of the time in person. The other area where it affects us is that in order to participate in remotely for an in-person meeting, the state requires that the individual member request permission to participate remotely, specify their reason, and it requires those reasons to be put into our minutes. So basically how it affects us is if you know you're not going to be able to come, as soon as possible, email me, tell me why, and we can just, in general terms, explain, why you weren't present at the meeting. Anybody got any questions, comments about that?
I vaguely remember reading something about that when the state came up with some guidelines, right? Is that where that came down? Building rules kind of stuff.
Mhm.
And did it have a list of, I thought it had like a list of reasons on there. Mine is childcare oftentimes on a purchase. Yeah.
Well, it doesn't, see, this is something that's a little bit, the two specific reasons that are sort of mandated as being acceptable, basically, we've got to accept them, are if the individual is sick or debilitated, handicapped and can't attend. And the other is if they're responsible for the care of someone who is ill or handicap. It does not specifically say childcare.
Right.
So that obviously I think it's within my power to use my discretion. But
Kids are always sick in the winter school year.
that's
all.
That's a
all
good
6
safe
months.
bet. Yes.
It's guaranteed.
I hear you.
Probably got sick from his granddaughter now from this. You said you're
I
sick,
know,
right?
yeah, well, I'm afraid that is
Guaranteed.
totally true. So yeah, anyway.
They need to broaden that situation for people though. You know,
Well,
People who can't drive, and that includes kids.
there's all kinds of reasons. Otherwise, you'll just get two retired guys running the show forever.
That's true.
No working person
Right.
in their 30s, 40s, 50s, not that there's anything wrong with, you guys, and I'm glad,
Old guys.
but I mean, it's like, how could you do it,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
No, it's hard.
It's true. Everything, city council, the whole nine, you can't,
It's hard for
realistically.
working people,
participate.
yeah, exactly, with kids, I mean, it's crazy.
well, I mean, I was put,
So we gotta go down to Richmond and talk to them about changing that rule.
I was appointed to the board of a charity when I was a church warden. And I lasted about 4 months. They kicked me off because I didn't do anything. I had no idea what was expected of me. And had two small kids at home, and we had two demanding careers, and it didn't work. So I understand entirely.
Lately, I haven't gone anywhere, but it's still,
So, unless there are any more questions about this or any more announcements or questions about going forward, that's all I have for tonight.
Public comment section.
Now it's time for.
We don't get much of a money.
It's time.
Well, yeah, it is not a good show, boys and girls. Not a good show. This is not,
No drama.
no,
drama.
not a good show. I just want to let you know that Sam is, Sam Heath, we have from the,
If we're gonna make public comments, I ask her to identify herself.
Okay, please identify yourself.
oh, I'm
State your
sorry,
name,
Susan Perry, here, okay.
Resident of Charlottesville.
Well, actually, of Albemarle County.
Oh, that's all right.
But,
We won't hold that against you.
thank you. So Sam Heath is, for Charlottesville Area Justice Coalition, sent out an email, and I think there's a lot of people on the mailing list, and he sent the application for the PCOB
For
along with
membership.
it, the membership, for the application.
Interesting.
So that's nice. Just letting you know, it's getting out there a little bit.
Good.
And nothing else, there hasn't been any.
Right.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, no, things slowed down over December, both with the holidays and the fact that everyone got sick. So.
Yeah, my house too.
Is there anyone on the online? Okay. Is there any objection to adjourning the meeting?
Do you have comments, Karen?
I do not.
Oh, okay, sorry. I assume from your email.
I
Yes,
just
we
wanted
have
to
read
share
your-
those things with you.
We have read your email. Thank you.
Has there been any more talk about the, of course, everybody's ready to get off the meeting now, but the traffic cams and any
Flock.
flock, any updates in that arena? Anybody heard anything?
Not that I'm aware.
I understand that it's the police department's decision, that the city council doesn't have anything to do with it.
Well, actually,
It's a pilot.
I don't think, okay, because
Because of the
okay, my
funding.
understanding was that council would have to sign off on it. And that's one reason that the chief has been doing these neighborhood listening sessions about. Because there was some, but I don't know, I couldn't be wrong with that.
It's
You know, Mr.
funded with some other dollars like
Yeah.
police film. So I guess when you get
Well,
with
the
it
pilot
on-
is, yeah.
Right. So they're not using, technically, they're not using city council funding, I guess. I
But
mean,
once
I
the
don't know.
pilot is
Yeah,
done, then they
right.
have to go to council to fund it ongoing. It's gonna be a short-term thing. I think there were gonna be initially, 10 cameras? Mr.
10,
Chair?
yeah, I thought.
Any other questions, comments? If there is no objection to adjournment,
Well, thank you for the donuts.
Yes.
we are adjourned.
Too late for me for coffee, but
Time.
No.
It is 7:02.
feel better. Oh,
Sorry, I got two of them.
feel better, gang.
Yep,
So.
thanks everyone for coming.